So something. Yeah. So we have a wonderful owner by the name of Chris Birch, who has given his undivided support and attention to helping us and supporting us and making Nihiwatu what it is. And certainly he's invested a lot of his own money in upgrading the facilities and the rooms and accommodation and the overall aspects of the infrastructure to the resort. So now that he has provided us that support the last couple of years, it's time for us to also stand on our own 2 feet and be self-sufficient on that side. And I think that's where the sustainability from the environmental, from the community projects and everything that we do on that side to the business side of things, where it really starts to begin to connect. And how do you maintain that balance between running a business and still being able to make these contributions to the community? And that's essentially what we achieved last year, and what we look forward to seeing the final results on this year, and what we hope to continue to see for years to come.
Of course. I would love to see it. But I have anyway that Nihiwatu also that have a plan to to avoid any malaria things in Sumba itself. Yeah, that you have a plan that to develop to demolish to avoidance all the malaria in Sumba itself.
We do our own malaria and mosquito prevention programs, but ultimately the Summa Foundation is actually Dr. Klaus, who works with us in the foundation, has been in contact and actually working with and going out with the Gates Foundation, who's actually focused on doing malaria eradication on the island itself. So we do have connections and various links to other nonprofit organizations who are here on the island. So as not to kind of overlap with various programs. That way, so of course we get the most out of what money and efforts we put into things. But of course also to let those who are specialized in doing what they do continue to do that. So yeah, actually that's where the link, and it would be great to get a formal sort of coordinated effort to work with the Gates Foundation more. But of course, right now they're kind of doing what they do with the mosquito testing and their program. So we kind of let them do that and focus on what they're really good at.
Yeah, indeed, I agree with that. I see. Yeah. Wow. So everything kind of aspects that basically things from United Nations about 17 goals that I can say that all of it you achieve it.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly through no small effort, but we just try to do the best that we really can. And there are mistakes that are made along the way, and you try something and it's great if it works, and if it doesn't, then you go back and you revisit and you look and see how you can tackle it from another angle.
Yeah.
And that's really what we aim to do, both on the foundation as well as on the hotel side. So there are certain aspects of the culture that both have to be quite sensitive and very conscientious of. It's still a very raw. It's still a very raw place. It's still very intact, which is again what makes it one of the most amazing things. And about the experience of coming here and getting to see something like it and experience it. It's what made me fall in love with the island was the people. And I studied art in school. I was not a business management hotel hospitality student. I studied art and had plans to go get my master's in architecture. And I wound up in hospitality, and 8 years later, I found myself on Sumba, and 10 years after first starting, and 3 years after arriving here, I'm still here. So, certainly it has the magic of grabbing people as well. And that's again it's the combination of everything that's going on that really makes the effort worthwhile, even through the times that we stumble and trip and have to stand back up, dust ourselves off, and approach things again.
But the interesting is that you felt the two condition, right? Before that, the cash flow is of profits, and then right now it's starting to get the profit. So you have the feeling, you have the connection for Nihiwatu or even for Sumba Foundation itself, to control, to manage every kind of local communities, and then also the business profits, also the foundation that have to carry on the communities, also the businesses, isn't it?
The foundation and the resort kind of function two different ways when it comes to the business side. So the foundation is mostly from guest donations, and I'll be able to kind of get into that a little bit more, I guess, at a later stage when I've kind of dug more into the financials and have a better understanding of the sort of cash flow and the sort of turnaround process on that. With regards to the hotel, of course, our cash flow and being self-sufficient in what we do here really stems from, again, sustaining what we've had, maintaining the assets and the facilities here to an exceptional standard of what's been created, and doing it like-mindedly with minimizing the amount of wastage that happens around the resort. It's very easy to let things get out of control quite quickly. I'm sure anybody in business and asset management can certainly feel that burden as well. So it's very important that that control is kept and monitored and maintained, and really maintaining the assets and not looking at spending unnecessarily and knowing what projects are going to cost and what the benefits are going to be. Looking at an investment like reverse osmosis, for example, yes, it is a very expensive thing to invest in initially. However, in the long run, when you're not looking at running into having no water at the resort, having that impact your guests, the cost of trucking in water, the time, the environmental impact as well, the impact on the community. If water is scarce for us, it's even more scarce for other people who don't have the access to it. And when it's certainly in a low state of availability, or it's not available at all, when that starts to impact your guests, you're looking at it from the other side. Without the guests, the hotel doesn't exist. So overall, in the long run, an investment like that ends up paying for itself because you become self-sufficient and you don't have to rely on certain things. So the initial costs on it, yes, are high, but the long-term benefits and the cost savings overall, is, quite nice. So it's things like that we look at, and with the profits from the hotel that aren't going to be repatriated back to the foundation, that's all stuff that goes back into, again, upgrading and maintaining the facilities and the offerings and developing new programs here at the resort as well. So, you look at that side of it, and it doesn't necessarily take a whole lot to make something incredible. It's really the vision, the idea, and then putting it together in a fashion that that the staff can execute and the guests can have an amazing experience from.
I see. Wow.
Yeah, a little bit of money. I'll tell you, a little bit of money in Sumba goes quite a long way. Just going through some of the donations. 'Cause, like I said, the foundation and the resort are kind of separate on that side. So the foundation works off business cash flow. Is primarily donations from the guests that have stayed here at the resort, or other, private foundations. Those that have set up things to donate money to other charitable foundations. So, you look at somebody who has donated $9,000 US, or the equivalent of an Indonesian rupiah, and that provides school lunches for all of our 5 schools that we're doing for a year. It's $9,000.
$9,000
If you were
for a
looking
year.
at $9,000 for providing school lunch for a school in Singapore, I'm pretty sure that would be probably your week's budget. So a lot of money goes a little bit of money goes a long way.
Yeah.
You've got $250 supplying school supplies for 50 children. $50 you've got school meals for 50 children. $500 can buy life-saving medicine to treat up to 100 people. So it's not really that there's a lot that needs to be done. I mean, it's quite incredible what you can achieve with a little money and a bit of a vision. So on that side of it, on the donations that we get from the guests, that goes into the Sumba Foundation, and then each month we actually put forth a budget based on that to the co-founders, Sean and Claude, and then they'll go ahead and they'll approve it based on what we need. Fortunately, our guests that stay at the resort really fall in love with everything that's going on. So they're quite supportive and quite generous with leaving behind some pieces for the Sumbanese.
Wow. Really impressive for everything.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions for me?
Yeah, actually, how could I say? Everything that you explained, that everything is already understandable for me. That for kind that businesses, for your businesses, that you are not thinking only of profits from the beginning. That you have a passion, the real passion of a hospitalities, isn't it? That all kind of years, or all the years that you're providing for Sumbanese, for communities, for your businesses, that finally you start to achieve
really at the end of the day, if it weren't for the Sumbanese staff at the resort, the Sumbanese staff in the Sumba Foundation, and the support of the Sumbanese community, the resort, the foundation, none of it would exist. And keeping the balance between things and that appreciation for everything that they've done and everything that they've supported all of us through to get the hotel to where it is, to create the programs for the foundation, for the communities. It's taken a lot. So without any of their support and their guidance and their acceptance, none of it would exist. So really a big kudos and a big thank you to all of them as well, because without it, none of us would be here.
Yeah, every kind of symbiosis, mutualism between your companies and communities is very 100%. It's what do you call it? 100% is integrated, so that Sumbanese have a benefit, get the benefits from you, from the companies, and then you got the benefits. Not the benefit as a profitable things, but the benefits between as a humanity, between the communities, between you, the companies itself. So, wow, that's incredible.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you do have any other questions for me, please feel free to ask.
Sure.
You have my email address.
Sure.
I'm more than happy if you need me to write down anything that I've said. If you need any clarification on anything, please feel free.
Thank you very much.
I'm available anytime. So, more than happy to help.
Thank you very much, Kenny. I'm really appreciate it, and also your time for an hour to discuss with me that you don't know before.
No, my pleasure. Anytime.
But anyway, if I have time, I will start to go to Sumba then.
Yeah, please. If you ever find yourself on the Forgotten Island, give me a shout.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you very much, Kenny, for your time. Okay, see ya. Bye bye.
You're most welcome. Take care.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.